Hello, welcome back. We're one day into 2017. Hope everyone had a fantastic Christmas and New Year. Now, 2016 was a busy year for me video-wise. I had far too much time on my hands because of various reasons, and I did an awful lot of videos, and I really enjoyed it. So I thought I would challenge myself, and it's been very, very difficult, to pick out what have been the 5 best moments that I've enjoyed the most, the best videos and best encounters of the whole thing. So here we go. I better get it out of the way now because I've already changed my mind about 6 or 7 times, and I've got to settle on the final 5. So here we go. First off, Barbarian, Palace Software, 1987. This was one of my favourite games back in the day, purely because it was one of the few games I could be any good at, and of course it has the flying neck chop, as you have just seen demonstrated ably by Bazza there. It was a fantastic game. I really, really enjoyed Barbarian, and I really enjoyed revisiting it for the purpose of the video that I did of it way back early part of last year. Let me just turn my phone on to silent because I'm always forgetting to do that because the alarm's just gone off for some reason. What makes Barbarian stick out even more was the fact that as much as I love Barbarian, I absolutely loathe Barbarian 2. I find it way too tricky. It's a very, very unenjoyable game and a very disappointing sequel, I find. Up there with the likes of Renegade 3, in my opinion. There goes his head yet again. So I enjoyed playing Barbarian an awful lot as a kid. It's just a great game, so much fun. Even now, sort of managing to pull off that flying neck chop was just bags of fun. It's a really, really, really enjoyable game, and it was a pleasure to revisit it to make the video. And I actually remember I was playing it for a good few hours. I hadn't played it for a few years, and it all sort of came flooding back to me. Anyway, there we go. There is Barbarian. Now, the next game that is going to come up in just a few seconds, I found purely by accident. A few months back I did a video looking at 10 Spanish games because the Spanish Spectrum scene was very, very, very strong, and it was something I didn't know an awful lot about. So I hunted down 10 Spanish games, and I came up with this little gem, El Capitan Trueno from Dynamic in, I believe it was 1989. Now this is a great little sort of Castlevania type game, and it's great sort of point is there's 3 characters, and you've got to use each of the 3 characters, the Captain, Crispin and Goliath, in order to solve the puzzles. The Captain's the one who does the fighting, Crispin is the one who can leap and jump up and flick switches and climb ropes. Goliath can't really do anything but jump up and down, but when he does, he causes an earthquake, which you'll see in just a short while. Everything about this game is great. It's not as difficult as most of the Spanish games are, but the graphic style, the way the characters work together, the way you've got to use each character is fantastic. It's really, really, really well-made game, and one that if you haven't ever been familiar with it, go and check it out because you will enjoy it. It's a great, great game, and I'm really, really glad I found it. And I have played it quite a bit, actually, because it's so much fun. Now, homebrew was something I focused quite a lot on in 2016 because I'm very much of the mind that we should fly the flag for people who are willing to keep the Spectrum alive. And there's an awful lot of fantastic games coming out, and this for me was the pick of them, Taline by RetroSouls.net. This is an absolutely amazing game. It's got great graphics, great gameplay. It's a Boulder Dash clone, as you can see. And it's also got a great soundtrack. Now, when I sort of made the video on it, I did say, that I'd happily have paid money for this game back in the day if it was released in the 80s. The fact that it's available for free for download from RetroSouls is even more fantastic. Now there is an option available if you want to do it traditionally and you want to actually load the game from tape. You can actually do so. Someone's taken the trouble of getting this produced for tape, and you can order from the website, which I will put a link in the description box below. It's www.bumfungaming.com, and you can order yourself a physical copy of the game to play. And I suggest either way you pick this game up if you've never ever been familiar with it. It is absolutely fantastic. It's getting up there with being one of my sort of favourite games of all time. It's not quite, but it is an amazing game, and because of this I sought out all the other Retro Souls releases and did videos on most of them so far. I haven't done every single one. Bless you, dog. And that's why I love to sort of champion homebrew programmers, because you know this has to be a labour of love. There's obviously no money involved in it nowadays, and you know people need the support and they need the encouragement to keep going and knowing that people love what they are doing. So yeah, I will always champion homebrew games. Right, moving on to what is possibly my favourite game of all time from back in the days when it's excuse me, right, it's a frog in my throat there. I've got a bit of a cold coming down. Please feel sorry for me. Right, we come to Zeno from ANF Software in 1987. I think it's by Binary Design. This is an absolutely fantastic game. I loved this and played this to death with my mates back in the day. It's probably one of the best two-player games there is. Better than the Match Days, better than any of the sort of fighting games, better than Emily and Hughes. It's just a brilliant game. It's so fast-paced and frenetic, and it doesn't get the sort of exposure or recognition that I think it deserves, because it is absolutely wonderful, and not many people seem to have heard of it. And if you've never heard of it, you know, please go and check it out, because it deserves far much more love than it actually gets. It's an absolutely cracking game, and one that again I loved coming back to. When I did the video of it, I actually played it for hours. It was the first time I'd played it for a good long time, and everything sort of came flooding back. Used to play it with my mate Mark an awful lot, and it was just one of those go-to games we would have. If we fancied a two-player game or something, we'd invariably head to this. Sometimes we'd do Exploding Fist, sometimes we'd do other games, but more often than not we ended up on Zeno, and with good reason, because it's an absolutely fantastic game. It just brings the memories flooding back just playing it. It's just so much fun, such a laugh, and it gets really frantic, especially if you set the sort of distance, or sorry, the time limit between shots quite low. Then you know it really gets fast and furious. Anyway, going on to the final one of the pick is going to be one of my most recent videos, Merry Christmas from Horus, by Steve Broad, and it was only released at the end of November. Now, it's a great little game. Features in this month's, or the latest, Retro Gamer, where it got a very respectable 80% score. And the reason I've chosen this game is, I'm not going to hide away from the fact, Steve invited myself and Villord Such prior to releasing Merry Christmas from Horus, it was around about September, to assist him with playtesting the game and sort of trying to iron out any niggles there might have been, come up with a few ideas to try and make the game that little bit better. It's all his own work. Neither me nor Rod did any programming. I don't know if Rod's any good at programming. I certainly ain't. But we just came up with a few sort of ideas to help try and improve the gameplay, and hope those of you that have played it have enjoyed it. And it was a fantastic opportunity to be part of something like that, even though it was only firing a couple of ideas Steve's way. You know, it was just great to watch the Steve's project evolve from what it was when we first saw it to the stage where he was finally happy to offer it for download. And it's a free download, and I will link to Steve's website, where you can pick up Merry Christmas from Horus and some of his other Horus games, if you so wish. And I would encourage you to do so, because, as I said, we need, and as I've repeatedly said, we need to keep encouraging people to develop games and make sure that they have a reason to do so, that they know that people like and appreciate their efforts. Now, like I said, I've just had to narrow this down to 5, otherwise the video would have gone on forever. I've enjoyed playing even the crap games like the Oriental Heroes and Ninja Masters, etc. The ER Kung Fu 2s. There's a certain sort of sadomasochistic sort of self-punishment thing about playing a really crap game, sort of like if you've been naughty, you go and punish yourself. You know, it's easier than giving yourself 10 lashes of the whip. Anyway, before that goes off into a strange tangent, I'd just like to say thank you ever so much for watching the video. 2017 is going to continue with a lot more from me, hopefully. If you like the video, please let me know. If there's anything you would like to see in the future, please let me know. If you'd like to subscribe, please do so. It'll be fun to see you and to join in some discussions with you. Take care of yourselves. Thanks very much for watching, and goodbye.